To go out there alone, you have to feel that you really want it. You have to feel that you're ready. You want the truth? It's really scary. So if there's something bad happening to you, well, you're dying. Yeah, it takes a little bit of innocence, but I guess it works out.
SailHub had a unique encounter with a truly inspiring solo female sailor who braved to sail from Cape Town to France at the age of 25. A courageous 8,000 nautical mile voyage on board her 1978 Dreadnaught 32. Here we capture her story. Question is, could you handle it?
My name is Claire, I'm from Montreal, Canada. And with my parents, we went sailing around the world from Quebec to Australia. So I was 10 at that time. It is awesome to have parents like that. Sailing has always been part of my family, kind of. So I've started sailing when I was, I don't know, maybe 3 years old in an Optimist. And I've learned like Optimist, dinghy sailing quite young, and windsurfing. We left Quebec when I was 9. It was on a 42-feet lagoon. We went all the way to the west coast, through Panama Canal, all the way to the Marquesas, French Polynesia, all the way to Australia. And after we went back, like once you travel by boat, like you cannot ever go back. You kind of have this need to be in this lifestyle. So after that, I became a sailing instructor when I was 16. And yeah, I've been sailing instructor for 4 summers. Then I had a friend in Australia that bought his sailboat, a 60-meter ferrocement, and he needed a crew. So he asked me, Claire, do you want to come as a crew on my boat? At that moment, my dream has always been to go sailing solo on an ocean. It was a calling inside of me to go out there, to see what it's like to be just you, your boat, the ocean, the sea, and to see how you deal with yourself, you deal with the difficulties, you deal with the obstacles, and you learn, being solo on the ocean, you learn so much about yourself. Are you alone? Why are you doing this alone?
Yeah. How is it though? How is it actually doing this by yourself?
Why am I doing this by myself?
No, how is it? How does it
How is it? It feels really nice because you're the only one making decisions, but you're the only one to blame also if you're making a mistake. And it can be hard when I don't have the physical strength to do some stuff, like removing the propeller shaft from the tourteau in French, the part that goes in the engine. But yeah, everyone is really willing to help if I ask them for help. So yeah, I just have not to be afraid to ask for help if I need it. And that's it. So it's like a circle of energies of helping each other, which is really nice. It's really, really nice. I was reading a lot about Liz Clark on Swell. She went across all Pacific. Not all Pacific, but she did a lot of solo sailing in Pacific Islands and Pacific Ocean, and that was a big source of inspiration. I wanted at one point, I was really inspired by the Vendée Globe and Ellen MacArthur and everything. I found that it was a call of adventure. So yeah, which other opportunity do you have to be in solitude, like alone, for more than 1 or 2 days, except on being on the ocean? And you learn so much about yourself and you discover parts of yourself that you didn't know. And I have some friends that told me about it, and on my way from Australia to South Africa, I kept meeting solo sailors. And what they were telling me about the way they felt alone out there in the ocean, how they felt alone, how they felt being for so long on this kind of adventure, it felt so interesting to me that I wanted to try it out and see how it is to be alone. And she's a Eskimo, well, he is a 32 feet fiberglass boat, long keel, 9 tons, maybe like 10 and a half with everything I've put it. And yeah, it has not even a wind vane. I use like just little like wool stuff to get the wind direction. I don't have an autopilot. I have my Ares wind vane to steer the boat, which uses only like the force of the wind and the force of the rudder. Like, of course, the winches are not electrical. I don't even have a fridge, and I don't even have a freezer. But the bilge are quite cool, so I can put like some beers, and they're not too hot, so that's the most important thing. And I have toilets, but I don't have a shower, so I use a bucket. Anyways, on passage I have a toilet, but I didn't use it once in like 48 days. I used like only a bucket for everything, which was perfect. Well, when it's simpler, like you have to find ways, it's being more self-sustainable in a way. Less problem, less things to fix, more time to enjoy boat life. You want the truth? It's really scary. It is scary. Like, my heart was pumping so hard. Going there, I was like, but then what am I going to do? I'm going out there for I don't know how many days. I'm going from Cape Town to France. It's crazy. And at one point, I think it was on the 4th, I started reading a solo sailing book about storms and what to do if you get caught in a storm. It tells you like all the worst scenarios that can happen. And then you try to picture yourself in a situation, you're like so far away from everything. And I felt so bad that I used my satellite phone, my Iridium, to call my mom. I think it was just before the equator line after St. Helena. Same, I looked at the map to see where I was in the world, you know? And I could see I was the farthest point away from like every land possible. So 400 miles from there, 400 miles like everywhere on a radius. And that was a place where no cargo ship were passing. So if there's something bad happening to you, well, you're dying. And that's what the part becomes interesting, because at this part, I've always been scared of dying, like I think most of us. But when you accept that dying is possible, that you may die, that you may be dying in the next few days, few weeks, but once you accepted that, you live fully. You accept the fact that you can die, and you're like, okay, well, if I'm going to die, at least it's because I'm doing one of my dreams. I think it's really listening to yourself, listening to your intuition, and for any reason, if your intuition is telling you, do this, but you don't see any rationality to do it anyways, because your intuition is always right.
What about if you're a solo sailor? Any tips for a solo sailor?
Always sleep as much as you can, because you never know when you will have to be awake for more than 24 hours. Always eat and drink, same. You want to keep your energy level as high as possible most of the time, and have a lot of chocolate. That's really important. And don't read about storm techniques. You're out there alone. Do it before, after.